But anyway, let's bring you more on our developing news this morning. The US Senate agreeing a deal to avoid the so-called fiscal cliff of tax rises and spending cuts. These are the live pictures from the Senate in Washington. That vote has just been taking place. They're tallying up right now, but they seem pretty confident that it has gone through very early in the morning, 2 a.m. New Year's Day. Not a normal time for these senators to be at work. Let's talk to analyst James Boyce, Dr. James Boyce, who's here. I mean, fiscal cliff, they have technically gone over it, haven't they?
They have, technically. It's fascinating. I mean, I came in this morning to find that they were actually voting. No senators or congressmen are happy about being in Washington at this time and this place. Necessity has resulted in this. It'll be fascinating to see when the final votes come in just how close it has been in the Senate, because there's a lot of people saying, well, it's great, we can introduce it into the Senate, but there's no guarantee that it'll avoid a filibuster. Well, it looks like it's managed to do that. It'll be interesting to see who's actually voted for it and against it. Of course, this isn't a done deal yet. It has to go to the House of Representatives, which is Republican-controlled. No guarantees it'll pass there, but the expectation is that it probably will if it's managed to clear the Senate.
But I mean, it still raises that question, doesn't it, about the deal itself? I mean, we were talking yesterday morning, weren't we, about whether a deal done at this very late stage can be in any way satisfactory.
Well, I think the one thing we can guarantee is that it isn't satisfactory. I think lawmakers on both the left and the right are basically holding their nose and voting just to get this through. The irony about this move, Stephen, is that it was very much done to avoid and put an end to short-termism, and yet what we're seeing here is another short-term fix. There's fudging and issues going on around tax increases and suggestions that they're going to put off for at least a month or two the budget cuts, for example, that would have severely impacted the Pentagon. So, again, it will be interesting to see exactly the wording of the deal that comes out of the Senate today.
Frighteningly, in all of this, I mean, the reason we give it so much attention, in case people are wondering, I mean, whatever is decided here, whatever goes through, is going to have and will have a massive international impact, won't it? I mean, the markets across the globe will react as soon as they're open to whatever comes out of this.
Absolutely. I mean, if there's anything that's saving this from being a worse calamity, it's the fact that the markets are generally closed today because of the bank holiday. But absolutely, the markets rely upon confidence, and if the government of the United States can't be seen to get its act together, quite frankly, who knows? Here we go, we've got the vote. Let's...
Oh, so 89 to 8. So I mean, it's you know, it's clearly you know, a significant victory there. It is, as you say, whether it will make it through the House of Representatives with the same sort of margin.
What's fascinating about this is where the key players have come from this. The chap you're seeing at the moment, Harry Reid, for example, has very little to do with this. The key players in this getting it through the Senate to this stage have actually been the Senate Minority Leader, Mitch McConnell, a Republican, and the Vice President, Joe Biden, who is someone who's actually played a key role in getting this through behind the scenes.
Is this looking like an absolute compromise, or has someone come out on top? I mean,
there's no doubt the Democrats have. No doubt whatsoever.
It's difficult, isn't it? You can look at it and say, has the president been weak, or has he been strong and stubborn? Well,
I don't think he's been particularly skillful. He came out yesterday afternoon and gave a press conference which was seen to really rile a lot of Republicans, because it was very passive-aggressive, more of a cheerleading exercise than a press conference. And but Republicans haven't voted en masse to increase taxes for 20 years, since George Herbert Walker Bush famously walked back his "Read My Lips, No New Taxes" pledge, which was seen to help defeat him in the election of that year. So Republicans across the board, and especially in the House of Representatives, are going to have a very hard time swallowing this piece of legislation.
James, great to get your views this morning. Thank you very much indeed.